Ojalá nunca hubieras nacido. Hola mi gente, es tu chica cívica Tira y hoy estoy en Paraíso. Hoy quiero hablar sobre cómo aprender español. Si has querido aprender español pero no estás seguro de cómo empezar, este video es para ti. If you've been wanting to learn Spanish for some time but you don't know where to start, this video is for you. So keep it locked. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. You know the drill. And if you're new, welcome to my channel. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you find this video helpful. Let's get into it. Here are some tips of how I've learned to become conversational in Spanish. It's not as hard as you think, but the biggest tip I have for you overall, if there's anything you get from this video, it's this. You must immerse yourself in the language. Now, immersing yourself looks like a plethora of things, so I'm just gonna break down little tidbits of what you can do. My first tip into immersing yourself in Spanish is to watch television in Spanish. You can watch telenovelas, you can watch noticias, you can watch movies in Spanish. They have a bunch of them on Netflix. Find something that intrigues you and piques your interest and just dive in. If you want to start off with subtitles, you can do that too. But the reason why you want to do that and watch your TV in Spanish is because it's everyday conversation, there's a plot. The words that are in there are words that you need to communicate every single day. I love a good telenovela. Just so juicy and just right up my alley, so no quiero volver a verte. Puedes odiarme, pero nunca dejaré de amarte. TV in Spanish, noticias, telenovelas, really important, major key in learning Spanish. When I asked some of my bilingual friends about, how they learned English, one of the biggest ways they did so was watching American television in English. And it doesn't seem like it's educational, but it very much so is. If English can be learned by watching television, so can any other language. And mind you, you don't have to understand everything that's being said, and you're not going to, especially if you're just starting out. If you want to put the subtitles there, you can. I don't recommend subtitles, as it's kind of like you just find yourself reading it versus trying to make yourself understand. So try not to do any subtitles. Try to pick out words that you just don't understand. As you're watching, write them down, and you can actually go back later and look at, what those words mean. Next time you watch the show, you will hear those words again, and you're gonna know exactly what they're saying. And it feels really good to understand. You're like, I understand. This is really good. No, this is a really good show. My next tip into immersing yourself into Spanish language is to practice speaking. How the heck are you gonna learn Spanish if you're not speaking it? It's impossible. So here are some ways that you can practice speaking in Spanish. For example, if you don't live in a Spanish-speaking household and no one is actually on the same journey as you to learn Spanish, here are some ways that you can actually practice speaking. There are sites that you can go to that are international sites, practicing Spanish virtually with a pen pal. But they're usually anywhere in South America, or they're in Mexico or in Spain or Central America. These are mentors through a site, and you usually pay them, pretty reasonable prices, and you can talk to them for about half an hour to an hour, and they speak with you, and it's a pretty good investment, no more than $10 for half an hour to an hour, which is a great deal, especially if you don't find that you have anyone to talk to in Spanish. That's going to be a great way for you to do it in the comfort of your home, especially given the situation of where we are right now. So consider that. There are a couple of sites for that. Maybe I'll make an additional video of what types of sites you can use. If you live in a city where there are a lot of Spanish speakers, like myself living in Southern California, I have a plethora of opportunities to speak to just people around me in Spanish. And I can go to my, local mercado and talk to the cashier or talk to someone in line and just practice Spanish. And one thing I like to do is, if they're probably wondering, sometimes people can wonder, why are you coming up to me and speaking Spanish randomly, right? Well, if you're worried about that, I think if you just tell them, hola, ¿cómo está usted? Quiero practicar mi español, and they'll understand. They'll be like, okay, yeah, of course. Sí, claro, and you can just, converse back and forth, and they're usually really gracious about it, because people really do like and enjoy when you're taking the time to learn their language. It makes them feel like you you know, are trying to understand them and that you respect the culture. I very much so do enjoy a plethora of Spanish-speaking cultures, and so it's a win-win. Give that a try too. My next tip into immersing yourself in the language is a no-brainer, and it's to travel to a Spanish-speaking country. Most people who are here speak English and Spanish, so when you're not forced to use it, you're not necessarily gonna force yourself to use it. But if you're in a place and that's your only choice, that's some good old practice for you. I have a personal example of that. So this time last year, actually, or August of 2019, I went to Tulum, Mexico, and it was the best time ever. It was a beautiful place, looked just like the paradise I'm in right now. And I was so surprised at how much Spanish that I had just locked up in my brain. But all in all, it was because I was forced to use it. I was literally in Mexico, like deep into Mexico. And so, you know, the people at the airport, they didn't speak any English. So I was really put to the test. And I think that was the most exciting part, was to kind of just really use what I had learned over the years, and it was pretty awesome. I want to show you guys actually a couple of pictures and a couple of videos of where I was in Tulum. So check out this quick clip of me in Mexico, in Tulum. About me being in Tulum, Mexico, was that I was so surprised that I didn't really get any chance to speak English at all. It was very interesting and it was good for me. You know, the taxi driver spoke Spanish. The tourist spoke Spanish, you know, like I thought I would be getting a few English speaking tourists, and no, people were visiting from like specifically other Spanish speaking places. Yeah, I met this older couple from Argentina. I didn't literally get any chance to speak English. It was crazy, but it was a really, really good time for me to practice. Once things open back up again and you're in college, maybe consider going abroad. I wish I went abroad, but I didn't. That's okay. I'm still getting my chance to travel now, but please consider going abroad. You will not regret it. I've heard it's amazing, and especially if you need to like fulfill like a credit in Spanish, why not just take a quarter and be like in Spain or something, or go to, you know, Argentina or somewhere in South America or Central America. You won't regret it, and it's going to be the best chance for you to immerse yourself in the language. My next tip is música. Music. I love music in general, and if you love music in general as well, this is going to be perfect for you. You're literally going to be able to learn Spanish but with rhythm. And what's interesting about the rhythm is that your brain is actually going to keep the information longer and like remember the words better, because our brains are like wired to remember rhythm. Anytime there's like a song in Spanish and the song is really catchy, or the singer has a really nice voice, I usually figure out who it is, and then I'll pull up the lyrics, right, in Spanish of course, and then I'll practice singing along. And you know, again, I may not know exactly what I'm saying, but it's good practice. And so if there's any words I don't know, I just take that word. I take the words from the lyrics, and of course I figure out the meanings of the ones I don't need, and I just put them in my back pocket for the future. Because again, you're always going to see the same words over and over again, and it's good to just know what they are and have them in your back pocket, and that's how you expand your vocabulary. I love reggaeton, but it's actually not a good way to learn Spanish because there's so much slang, and it's not like everyday words. Well, at least not to me. Like I think the best songs to listen to learn Spanish are like the slower love songs that are really romantic, because again, they're slower. Actually understand the words that they're saying in Spanish, so you can decipher what they're saying. Voy a reír, voy a bailar, vivir mi vida. Those are all like words that you can decipher. Okay, now my last tip for you guys, last but not least, It's not everyone's favorite, but it is very, very important. And that last tip is to write. Escribir in español. It's important because it forces you to actually think in Spanish. So, for example, someone like myself, I like to document things regularly in English. I like to plan out my day, you know, just write things down that I want to happen, like my goals, all of those things. If you do that already in English, you should actually try doing that in Spanish. It actually might manifest it quicker, actually. Because you're like, you can manifest it in English and Spanish, you might as well just manifest it in as many languages as you can to make it happen quicker, okay? So, it's actually a really good idea. Say, for example, you have a diary, you just document what you did. Today I went to the store, and then afterwards, I went to my friend's house, and we watched a movie. Instead of writing that in English, that's an easy way to translate it in Spanish. Por ejemplo, today I went to the store. Hoy fui a la tienda. And after, I went to my friend's house. Y después fui a la casa de mi amigo. O mi amiga. So just little things that you can document in English, just do it in Spanish. It's better, I'm telling you. Just try it in Spanish. Buy a dictionary. 501 Spanish verbs. And this book, this dictionary is so clutch. Okay, and I'll tell you why. Because you can practice, there's like little word puzzles in here. There's like a gazillion different conjugations. There's every verb you can think of. In order to really communicate, you really need to know your verbs. And you need to know how to conjugate them. And so, you know, we did that in high school. You probably did that in college. We learn it to pass our test, but we're not necessarily learning it to like withhold the information. So you really want to get your own. And so I got this from a city college, I think like a couple years ago, and it 15 bucks or so, definitely worth it. Thick book, lots of information. So again, you don't have to like sit here and study the dictionary, but just have this next to you when you're trying to practice your writing, and you'll see how helpful it is and how much you actually learn and retain because you're writing it down. So go back to school by yourself and actually learn to retain it versus learning it to pass a test. Ok, mi gente, eso es todo por hoy. Espero que hayas disfrutado este video. That's it for today, you guys.